What's up, everybody? It's Jared with Capture the Magic. And is Epic Universe getting review bombed? A lot of people are asking that question as some guests have taken to review sites, and it seems that Epic Universe is not having the highest of reviews. So in this video, we're going to talk about, is this review bombing? Are these legitimate reviews? And what is the reason behind the negative reviews? And was this really to be expected? So that's what we're going to cover in today's video. So a lot of this is stemming from TripAdvisor. And you go to Epic Universe and it shows a 2.2 out of 5 stars. If you go to Google reviews, 3.9 out of 5 stars as well. So not as harsh on Google reviews, but still not what you typically are going to see when you're looking at other theme park destinations. We can see here Magic Kingdom has 4.4 out of 5 in terms of its reviews. Islands of Adventure, 4.6 out of 5 reviews. Universal Studios Florida, 4.3 out of 5 on the reviews. So you get the picture here that Epic Universe is definitely lagging in the review side. Now, one thing I would note is the amount of reviews. Epic Universe has 382 reviews. And you look at Universal Studios, they have over 41,000 reviews. You look at Magic Kingdom, almost 70,000 reviews. So obviously those parks have been open longer. They have a lot more people that have reviewed them. And Epic Universe being barely just 3 months old, you don't have as many reviews out there. That part makes sense there. But when you look further into the reviews, actually start reading them, we'll go through a few of them here. You'll see a common trend that becomes pretty evident in that most people are not just saying Epic Universe sucks. I hate this park. They're giving legitimate feedback, many times very lengthy responses about their experience and falling short of their expectations. So we look at some of these reviews. We have Natalie R here says 1 out of 5, avoid if you can. Do yourself a favor and do not go if you want to roll the dice on the longest wait times I've ever seen for any park. We bought express passes, came early, and still encountered 300-minute wait times. Express says they cut that time in half. We did not get to confirm this considering any line we actually waited, they would end up saying the ride was, quote, delayed, and or after we waited long periods of time, the ride would abruptly shut down. The staff we talked to acted as if this was the norm. It kind of is right now for Epic Universe. And their excuses why the ride was down was always weird. For example, someone took their shoes off, so the ride is down. This was an excuse confidently given to us by a staff member. Well, I mean, there are reasons. I mean, other guests can cause a ride to go down. That is actually something that can happen. By 2 p.m., we went on 2 rides, so I just asked for my money back. The line to ask for money back was at least a 30-minute wait in the heat, so that was fun. Luckily, they know how bad their park is, and they granted me my request. The park was visually stunning, but I couldn't imagine spending another $40-ish for Super Mario bands. If you go, you may have a great experience like some, or you may be more productive of lighting your money on fire. It's up to you. Teabag T says 1 out of 5 stars. Don't waste your money, or waste of money. Ministry closed all day, no shade. Absolutely ridiculous waste of money. Can't see inside Ministry of Magic unless ride working. Selfish park. Oh, you have to pay for photos if you go on a ride. It's a cash-grabbing business. And that's a pretty common thing for theme parks to charge for on-board photos. And we'll look at one more. It says 1 out of 5 from Patty M. Busy, chaotic, unhelpful staff. Don't buy Express Pass. Really bad experience. We noted it may be busy. We got the Express Pass. Do not waste your money. So most of the rides are down through the day. Donkey Kong and Harry Potter all day. So what happens? They give everyone Express Pass. So when you use yours, you're standing in lines for hours. Most of the day we waited in queues, which we get, but then got turned away when the ride broke down again. We went to guest services and they offered us Express Pass. We explained we already have it. We can't get on anything as it is. She shrugged her shoulders and said, well, you can come back another day after 2, no Fast Pass included, and wait the full amount. I explained this is not right, $800 for 3 Express Passes. She couldn't care less. I said, is there anyone else I can speak to? She just said she is guest services. Now, obviously, the guest services part of that is not great if you're running a theme park, and it seems like there's at least one employee that I saw in a few reviews. I didn't want to spend the whole video going through all these reviews, but there's been a few pointing out that particular team member doesn't seem to be the most helpful in these situations. Outside of some of those, I've actually heard from most people that, when they have had a bad experience at Epic Universe, that the guest relations have handled it very well, refunded Express Passes, given another ticket to come another day. Now, I will say when it comes to the reviews, you go to Google reviews, you do see a lot of people leaving 4 or 5-star reviews, very happy with their experience. And again, the rating of 3.9 out of 5 stars isn't like terrible. It's not, you obviously want that to be higher, but it's not like the end of the world. type of reviews out there. But so I do think some of the, review bombing rhetoric out there, or the negative reviews out there, is a little hyperbolic. It depends on where you look. Again, if you're on Google here, it's not that bad. But if you go to TripAdvisor, it looks pretty rough. So here's a detailed review. They gave it 5 stars, June 2025. So you do have, you have some reviews on here that are 4 out of 5 stars. Obviously, you have some that are 1 out of 5. So, maybe you just have a more critical group of people coming over to TripAdvisor, but you just don't have as many of them. And then you still have your critical reviews over on Google, but, you're looking at 3.9 stars versus, 2.2. So there is a little bit of difference there. I do think on some level, we talk about 2 out of 5 stars here. You don't have as many reviews on TripAdvisor. So you look over here at Google reviews, you've got over almost 2,500 reviews on Google reviews. You only have about 382 reviews over here on TripAdvisor. So you do have a smaller pool of people, and, maybe TripAdvisor. I don't use TripAdvisor a lot. I know of it, but I can't say I use it a lot. Perhaps it's more people there that are, they travel a lot more. They're highly critical of experiences. Maybe that is, kind of like the food reviewers out there that'll go to a restaurant and really nitpick stuff. Maybe you have some of that over here, but I do think they're honest reviews that you are seeing. Why are these issues popping up for Universal? So we'll go through a few reasons, I think. First off, I think you do have a level of unrealistic expectations. I've talked about this in other videos as well. Given all the hype that was around Epic Universe, obviously I've been excited for Epic Universe. I love Epic Universe, but I can also look at the park and realize it does have some problems. Obviously, a new park is going to have operational issues. It was touted by many as the Disney killer and all these different things. And of course, there's going to be hype, especially in the social media age, about a new park on this level opening. And then you look at, say, influencers when they get to go for media days. They're, for the most part, not waiting in long lines. They get to experience these things. They're hyping them up, of course, as that's typically what you're going to do when you're invited by, Universal to come check out this park. And I think many people see that, create the expectations of that is going to be the same experience that they have. And then when they go, obviously you're met with a lot more people in the park, higher wait times, rides going down quite a bit. And then, of course, you're disappointed, which I completely understand. But I think that is something that is going to work against this park, especially in the early ongoing, are people are expecting a certain level of experience, and it just falls short of that. I think the other issue, and this is the same thing I said about the previews for Epic Universe, is it's priced at a premium. It is priced at exactly about the same amount as Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is the #1 theme park destination in the world. That park has been open for 50 some odd years, and for the most part is a well-oiled machine. And your experience going to Magic Kingdom is for the most part going to be a consistent one in terms of what to expect. But pricing Epic Universe where they did for previews, where they currently have it for what the experience is, I do think lends itself into that unrealistic expectations as well. If you're going to price this park at a premium experience and have these high wait times, these rides go down quite a bit, it makes total sense, and it's completely fair that people are going to feel disappointed in the money they spent if they go here and they're unable to ride all the rides. They maybe only get to ride 2, maybe 5 rides. Maybe it rains, and that's another issue with this park, is when it does rain, only 4 rides are running. And so I can completely understand that. So I think where they've priced it is also working against them in the review side of things, because I don't think this park, where it currently stands, justifies the price point and where it's at. I kind of feel like the price there should reflect that a bit. So I think where they've priced this also is leading to a lot of people feeling very disappointed in their experience. And also, it should be noted, this is the first theme park at this scale to open in the social media era. You have instantaneous feedback of your experience. I mean, back in the day, if you went to Islands of Adventure when it opened and you didn't have a great time, you were going to tell people you knew, you were going to tell your friends and family, but you didn't have Twitter or social media or YouTube to go on to voice your concerns or opinions, or these review sites really to really go on here and let it be known what you felt about it. And in this hypercritical era that we have with social media and online sphere, you're going to get more raw feedback about this. And when people are unhappy, they're going to go voice their opinions. You want to create hype about this, but at the same time, knowing these issues are going to exist, I do feel like the pricing here needs to reflect that. And I even felt that during the previews. I felt like what they were charging for previews, knowing that these rides were going down frequently, knowing that you're still training team members, knowing that even Battle at the Ministry during some of the previews wasn't even open. And the prices for those, that day of tickets, when Battle at the Ministry was closed down for that 2-week period before Epic Universe opened, they didn't discount any of the prices there. And I think that when you're charging that much, that comes with a level of expectation. It's kind of like buying a car. If you are going to go buy a Ford Focus and say you paid $20,000 for it, you might be like, okay, it's a Ford Focus. I feel like what I paid is what I was expecting from this car. And if you have a Ford Focus that's priced much closer to, say, a Mercedes, that's $100,000, you're probably going to be pretty disappointed in that car because you'll be like, wow, I paid $100,000 for this Ford Focus when I could went over here and got a Mercedes and got all these bells and whistles. So I don't like this car. Doesn't mean that the car itself is bad. This just means this car was not priced where it should have been given the features and the experience you're going to have with it. And I think Epic Universe falls into this because in many ways, Epic Universe is a park that's still in beta mode. They're still working through issues. They're still testing out park flow here. There's a current park capacity here of about 22,000 guests per day. So you look at most major theme parks, you can get 40 to 50,000 plus in a day at a theme park. You don't have that at Epic Universe due to the wait time issues here. So there is an issue in terms of the capacity of this park, the ride reliability, the overall experience that creates, and when it rains, the rides go down. So there's a lot of issues with this park in its current state. But again, people that understand theme parks go into this understanding that you're likely to experience some of these if you're going to, I guess you could just say, take the risk of going to this park during this opening phase here. But for the general public that hears that hype, that sees people talking about it, they don't have that perspective or knowledge about it. So when they go, they're just completely blindsided by the experience that they have. Maybe they've been to Magic Kingdom. Maybe they've been to Islands of Adventure. They had a great time. They come over here, and then all of a sudden, all these rides are down, and they're just waiting in these really long lines, and there's just a lot of frustration. So I don't really fault the consumer in that position because they just didn't know. So that comes down to messaging about your product. And like I said, I'm a fan of this park, but I'm in no rush to go back here until more of these issues are ironed out. Given that there's no annual pass option right now, because of this issue with the wait times here and this park capacity overall, that this park really can't handle annual passes right now. So personally speaking, I'm not wanting to have to spend a day ticket every time to go here. Plus, if you want to even remotely have lower wait times, also purchase Express Pass on top of it. So for me personally, I'm just waiting until probably annual passes come online or some of these issues are ironed out. But again, I was expecting this with this park. And so to me, I'm not in a place of frustration about it. I'm just in a place of looking to see when they are able to get through some of these operational issues. And I said this is one of the challenges of this park because one of the things that I think Universal is wanting to try and balance here is not overloading this park too much with, obviously they have a park capacity limit here, but obviously wanting to make money and obviously still wanting people to experience this park, enjoy it, and want to come back. So I think Universal may have been better off during previews and in this opening period here to, you can still brag about the park. You can still talk about all the things that you can experience here. Obviously we're brand new. We're still working out the kinks here. And so we would enjoy your feedback about this park as we do this. In return, you get a discount on the tickets here. And just understand that going into this, that your experience may be altered by some of the things that are going on during this period. Because that would set you you're setting the expectations lower for people. They go into it knowing they may experience these things. You're lowering the price down as much where they do feel like they're getting a deal. And so the people that do go, that do experience these things, may not be as harsh about it because they're like, well, they did tell us about this and we understood this was a beta test in many ways. So, this park had a really good time, has its issues, but looking forward to going back whenever this park is fully operational. Personally speaking, I think that would have been a better way to introduce this park, especially in the social media age where people are going to be hypercritical basically about anything on social media, let alone a brand new theme park that is undoubtedly going to have its issues when it does open. So do I think Epic Universe is being negative review bombed? Is it being overly critical of this park when it opens? Are people unjustifiably, just picking at this park about little things here and there? No, I think these people legitimately, for the most part, again, you're going to have some reviews out there that, of course, are just going to be, trolling a bit. But I think most of these people are giving very justified reasons from their perspective of what they expected and what they experienced. So that does fall on Universal in many ways about the messaging and what the guest was expecting when they experienced your product. And some of it comes along with a brand new theme park. And some people just don't understand that a brand new theme park is going to have these issues to work through. And when you talk about theme parks, a lot of it is based on emotions. How you feel during your visit is going to affect how you feel going on some of these rides. So if you've already been waiting 300 minutes for a ride, I have a hard time believing many people are going to feel like that wait time was worth it for basically any attraction out there. I don't think there's any attraction out there in the world that I think if you wait 300 minutes for, you're going to come away being like, that was totally worth it. I would totally do that again. And that also goes into people's perspective of how they feel about the park in general and just the rides themselves. You see some reviews, people really talk about they don't like the rides. Personally speaking, I think most of the rides are fantastic. You talk about Battle at the Ministry, you talk about Monsters Unchained. These are some great theme park attractions, some of the best theme park attractions that have ever been created. But when you're put in an environment where you're frustrated, where you feel like you overspent, you feel like you got duped a bit, and then you're waiting all these high wait times here, you're not going to come off that ride or have your day at the park feeling like, this was worth the money I spent. And so a lot of when you talk about theme parks is your emotions when you are there. Now, does this mean Epic Universe is just going to forever be a 2.2 out of 5-star park on TripAdvisor or on Google Reviews is going to be about a 3.9 out of 5 stars? No. Epic Universe is going to get these things ironed out. Universal is going to fix this problem. They spent $6 to $8 billion on this park, and I don't think they spent $6 to $8 billion on this park to leave it in the state that it's currently in. So while the experience here will improve, you just have a lot of the things that go with a new theme park opening that are just going to have to be worked through. And they've even talked openly during conference calls, during investor meetings, during quarterly earnings reports, that they're working through the efficiency of this park. And they've even said openly, Mark Woodbury himself, the CEO of the Universal Parks, has said there are things coming to Epic Universe to relieve some of these issues. Because really, when you're looking at this park and these high wait times, the only thing you can really do here is you could charge more to have less people in the park. Don't think that would go over very well. Would not like to see that. You could vastly limit the amount of people are allowed into this park. You could really cut that down, which is possible, but then you're hampering how much money you can make. And the other alternative you have is to just have more things for people to do in this park. And I think that is what they are working on. That is what they will do. They will add more things to this park. And I think within, 2 to 3 years, this park is going to run great. It's going to be a well-oiled machine. And it's going to be looked at as one of the best theme parks in the world. So for the most part, I think these are honest reviews from people that are just frustrated about their experience, the money that they spent. They don't feel like it met the level of experience that they got from it. I mean, even for me, I love Epic Universe. But if you're going to ask me, do I want to go to Epic Universe and wait 200 minutes for Mario Kart or 300 minutes for Battle at the Ministry? No, not at all. I don't want to experience that one bit. I do not like waiting in lines. Nobody does. And I don't want to spend almost $300 per person to get Express Pass to try and have less wait times here. So even for me, for somebody that loves this park, I can look at this and say, I think if I went here during some of these days, I would probably be pretty frustrated from my experience as well. And I'm coming in this with a very open mind, understanding what this park currently is offering in terms of the state that it's in. So I can only imagine people who are not plugged into theme parks, what they may expect, and then hit with the reality of a new park opening like this. I can understand the disappointment and frustration. Now, that doesn't mean Epic Universe will not be a great park. It doesn't mean that Epic Universe is doomed. It doesn't mean that it's a failure by any means. It just means it's a new park working through its issues that are to be expected. But again, they are going to be adding things to Epic Universe. They're going to expand this park. They want this park to be their flagship park. They want this to be their Magic Kingdom like you have over in Disney World. And so they're not just going to stand pat and let these types of things go on like this. They don't want to see these 1-star, 2-star reviews, I'm sure, out here. They want 4.5, 5-star reviews constantly about this park. So given as much money as they have spent, as aggressive as Universal is currently being and is going to continue to be, they're going to improve the experience here. That's just my take on this. Like I said, I love Epic Universe. I think it's a great park, but I'm not in any rush to go back in its current state, understanding these problems it's having. And I can't wait until annual passes are added to this park where the wait times aren't as high here to really go back in here and have a great day here, because our family loves this park. At least that's how I personally look at all this here. But either way, that's going to be it though for this video. So if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel as we do all this coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about the negative reviews that are out there about Epic Universe? And do you think that this will improve over time? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.